Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Chains and Building Dreams. I am your host, JC, and today I'm sharing a personal story like most of my days, from my first couple weeks home from prison after being released. Re-entry into society after being in prison, whether it's a month, 7 years, 15 years, is challenging, and the first weeks can be overwhelming. You're trying to find really what to do. You're trying to put one foot forward, staying on the right path, avoiding trouble. But sometimes life has other plans. During my second week home, I was walking down Central from Thomas to McDowell. As I walked down Central, I was rocking right next to the railroad when I witnessed something I guess I should be used to. I witnessed 3 men attacking a woman, punching her in the face and stealing her smartphone. In that moment, I really just reacted. My instincts took over and I started running. I just couldn't stand by and just watch. I had to do something. I ran towards the commotion and my adrenaline was pumping. I could obviously tell my old self was kicking in. I started to sweat and I started to run faster. I managed to catch one of the attackers, and without thinking, I just reverted to my old habits and I started to punch him in the face. It was like a switch just flipped. Unfortunately, he got away, getting away from the backpack that I was holding. I couldn't recover the phone. As I watched him run away, something unexpected happened. The woman, the victim, ran up to me, thanking me for being the only one who tried to help. That moment of gratitude was something I hadn't felt in a long time. When you go away for a mistake that you've made and they sent you to prison, you spent most of those years getting treated like garbage. And the reason why I want to say that is because it's the truth. And it's not the system. It's lack of education on both ends. It's lack of education on the inmates. Programs to help them do the time, help them not be bitter, and programs for the correctional officers also. They too need help. That moment of gratitude was something I hadn't felt in a long time. Just as I was processing what just had happened, a police officer arrived. He asked for my ID, and suddenly my PTSD kicked in. I started shaking, my hands, I couldn't keep still, terrified that I was going to get sent back to jail for having police contact. The officer noticed my fear and asked me why I was shaking, and I told him the truth. I had just gotten out of prison, and I wasn't supposed to have any run-ins with the law. I kept apologizing. I was so scared. I really wanted to stay out this time. Most of my life, I felt like a little kid that's done bad things. I guess from getting punished so much as a kid, it did something to me. I kept apologizing, just feeling the weight of my mistakes, my guilt, everything that I had done in the past. But then the officer did something and said something I could never imagine, and it took me years to comprehend. He smiled and said, "Today, you're the hero." Those words hit me hard, and it took me 7 years to truly sink in, but they did for the first time. I felt like I had done something right. I wanted to share this story to remind everyone, even myself, listening, that change is possible, even in moments of fear and uncertainty. We can choose to do the right thing. It's a reminder that our past does not define us. Will we fall? Yes, I hate to say it. But we can learn from our falls and from other people's mistakes if we listen. It's why I do what I do. It's why I spend the time that I spend doing what I do. Because I know how easy it is to make mistakes, and I know how easy it is for people to judge you when you make those mistakes. If you are out there struggling with your own battles, remember, you're not alone. We have all our demons and our walks that we have to deal with. But we also have the power to overcome them. You know, throughout my life, I've struggled so much with learning to change. It has been something really hard for me. You know, it wasn't until I started being more humble and started getting on my knees and actually being real with God and asking Him to help me. It's been a process, but I wouldn't change it for the world. The things that I get to do today are a dream come true. I love going to the county jails. I love going to the prisons. I love working with people that have gone through what I've gone through. And if they haven't gone through what I've gone through, then I hope that I'm doing my job in keeping them away somewhat of those bad decisions and those bad walks. I share my story not to glorify nothing, not the money, nothing. I share my story because no kid should have grown up the way that I did. No kid should have went through what I went through. But the sad story is that probably 7 out of 10 kids in America grow up like that. Grow up the way that I grew up. No God in their life, no fear, a lot of destruction, a lot of fear, loss of hope. This is why Wrong the Strongest is so important to me. It's so close to my heart, my soul. I believe that everybody is out there struggling. Everybody has their own battles. Everybody has their own stories. But man, we're not alone. We're not alone. I always tell people, take everything that you learned in prison on the streets and use it to your advantage. If you worked out in prison, take that with you outside. Make it one of your superpowers. You need that. If you needed it in prison, guess what? You need it out here. Managing your schedule. Always being on time. Take that with you outside. Learn to use what you've learned to make yourself better. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Chains and Building Dreams. Stay strong, stay hopeful, keep pushing forward. Until next time, hey, my name is JC. I am Wrong Strong. You know what time it is. Strong to la suburban, because we gotta go make a change. God bless you guys.